The Nigerian stock market, the all-share index closed at 36,526.73 points, down 0.14%. Now, this was as a result of losses seen in companies like Champion Breweries, Union Bank of Nigeria, Portland Paints, Nigerian Breweries, and USA Properties. While the best performing stocks for the day include Dangote Cement, Okomo Oil, Eterna Oil and Gas, UPL, and Just Breweries. Now, bank stocks led the benchmark index lower today, wiping out gains recorded in midday trade. The banking index lost 1.9%, dragged down by Union Bank, First Bank of Nigeria Holdings, and Zenith Bank. Now, could this be the start of another bearish week for the market? Well, David Adorin, General Manager, Lambert Trust and Investment, joins me now for a review of today's market trade. Thank you so much, David, for your time as usual.
Always a pleasure being with you.
Well, it looks like the market lost steam just before the closing bell went up. The market did start off positive, but we saw a turnaround. Investors suddenly decided to take profit of bank stocks. Could you just give us more insight into that?
Yes, before noon, the volume that was actually being traded was very, very low. At a point, as I monitored the equities market, volume was actually trading ridiculously around 35 million units point. And that gave an indication that there was weak demand in the market today. And that fear became substantiated at the end of trading, wherein volume traded today was a far cry from the usual volume that trades in the market every day. If you take a look at the performance of the market today, you will discover that volume traded was less than 200 million units, indicating therefore that we have a situation of weak demand right now in the market. So, although at the beginning of trading, the market was positive, but when more traders came to the market and introduced more volume, more supply into the market, and the market did not have the absorptive capacity by way of increase in demand, eventually the market ended up declining.
Would you say the market is just adrift right now and just searching for direction?
Well, we could say that demand is weak, but that may not be the trend throughout the week. Perhaps today being Monday, and with fewer traders coming into the market to consummate deals, we might ascribe it to perhaps the beginning of the week syndrome. But however, perhaps the enthusiasm again in the equities market may have been dampened by events in the global capital market, wherein the actions of the Federal Reserve Bank of the US is reverberating all around equities markets in the world, which are all seeing declines in their indexes. So because the Nigerian market has very high foreign participation, so it's not unlikely that there is a contagion effect on the market arising from global weaknesses that we're all seeing right now.
Okay, David, let's quickly talk about Champion Breweries. Now, we know that this is a stock that has been racking up gains in the last couple of sessions. And just this weekend, we saw shareholders of the company at an extraordinary general meeting endorsing a 57% takeover by a subsidiary of Heineken. Now, we've been seeing this mergers and acquisition trend in the brewery industry. But what does this mean for Champion Breweries? And looking at the reaction today, it doesn't look like there was much of a positive reaction. The stock was actually the worst performing stock for the session.
Yes, indeed. The merger arrangement had been a salutary development for Champions Brewery that has not been profitable for quite a while. I can't really recollect when the company announced a profit result, or when the company declared a dividend. And so with the merger taking place, which is actually part of the industry-wide consolidation that is happening in the brewery industry in Nigeria. It is a positive development for Champion. And investors have actually latched on that development before now to orchestrate the demand for that stock. And so we've seen the stock gather a lot of momentum in the past few weeks. But however, it has now come to a point of fatigue wherein investors' appetite cannot continue to grow. And so we are seeing a reduction in demand for that security. And so we are going to see perhaps the price settling down at a realistic level, which I believe it has gotten to now.
Okay, let's quickly talk about your top 5 picks for this week. I know market breadth is still pretty much weak at the moment, volume still very much thin. But what stocks, about 2 or 3 of them, do you think that would be on investors' radar for this week going forward?
Yeah, if you feel the pulse of the market, you'll discover that there is a gravitational movement away from the banking area, probably as a result of the impact of monetary policies on that sector. And so I will align with the sentiments of the market and look at securities in the real sector. I would consider very highly Dangote Cement as a result of his size and his remarkable growth and future. I would also look at National Salt Company that has a very stable earnings, and the payout ratio of dividend is also very, very high. In the food and beverages sector again, perhaps one can pick another member of the Dangote group that is also doing well with a bright future, and that is Dangote Sugar, which has a solid base and wonderful growth potential. So everything I am picking today comes from the Dangote group. So that tells you the kind of confidence that I repose in that particular group, as is likely to define the future of this country.